Yeah, so we could go into it saying like what to do if you're bored. And then I think there's multiple benefits of being bored, but also the reframe of boredom, because a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to be bored because we're in such a stimulated world, right? Whether we're in a screen, laptop, social media, phone calls, meetings, work, we're always doing something. When our like nervous system is resting, it feels like a threat. We're like, well, I'm bored, like it's a bad thing, but boredom is actually good. And I even seen a recent study where it talked about teaching your kids to be bored because then they don't feel like they always need something, which is what also leads to adults who become codependent on other people to help them regulate because they don't know how to be bored. They don't know how to be with themselves. And not to say you got to become this meditation guru that's meditating for an hour, 2 hours a day, but allowing yourself to have a few minutes to come back from the world and be in the present and in your body and comfortable with yourself is a really good skill to have, not only for your relationships, for parenting, for, whether it's friendships or, romantic relationships, parenting at work, because you can end up being the leader that gives everybody busy work, because when people look like they're not doing as much, then they're not valuable, right? Or thinking your kids always got to be doing something, so then you give them the tablet or the snacks and all the things because you feel like they shouldn't have this time of boredom, this time of like less stimulation, so I
All
think
right.
we could go on a couple different routes with that. But
So let's go. We here now. We're recording. So, what are some things? Because I'm writing down stuff as we go, like the value in the boredom. I think I spelled that right.
I just said all the things.
So, what can we? I guess the question you shouldn't ask is what can we do? Because boredom is all about not doing. But who can we be inside the boredom? Like, what are some things that we can take note of as we're sitting in this boredom?
And maybe the title could be Why You're Bored and How to Fix It.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. What can we be? What can we notice? What can we pay attention to?
I
How can
think
we create the shift in the boredom?
getting aware of like what it is that we think we need to be doing, right? Because a lot of times when we think we're bored, it's because our brain is telling us, oh, this is a problem because we could be doing this, XYZ, whatever it is.
So I like to I guess this is kind of like a form of meditation too. 'Cause I do this when I'm in public, right? I like to just sometimes when I'm in nature, I'll sit down and I'll just intently focus on one singular thing to listen to, like, okay, listening to the birds or listening to the squirrels ruffling in the trees or listening to the wind chimes as the wind blows or focusing on the kids that are playing in the field, and just like shifting my focus, even though there's these things happening at the same time, I'm shifting my listening to listen directly to what it is that it's happening in my environment. And then I do the same thing sometime in public too, to where I'll just like maybe sit on the bench and I'll just like try to focus in on key conversations. It could be chatter going on all over, but then I'll just focus in on this one particular conversation and then I'll shift my focus and I'll go and listen to something else. I'm not trying to be nosy, but I'm just exercising my focus. Because I think the thing that happens is when we're bored, a lot of times we find things to occupy our time as opposed to working on the inherent skills that we already have, like our listening skills or our nervous system, like feeling what comes up as we're sitting, not being stimulated, like what's coming up for me. Because a lot of times we get traumatized by things and we don't deal with it. We just keep moving on, but that trauma still lives within us. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not like a psychologist or a doctor or anything like that. But I believe that there's power in stillness and there's power in boredom. So when you are actually like just sitting with yourself, right? When you just have that time to just sit and really focus in on what's happening around you, this gives you the opportunity to step into a higher place within yourself. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do. And I think, when we do this episode too, that we will start off giving, huh?
We're doing an episode right now.
This is not the episode.
The episode.
This
This
is
is the
not.
episode. Yeah, this is the episode.
Um, well, I think, well, it'll be in the same order, I guess, than what we've literally shared. Because I was going to say people need to know and understand why they think boredom is a problem and stuff first before these steps. Because getting aware of your thoughts is very advanced, I think. Like, I think most people aren't aware of what they're actually thinking most of the time. So
Mm,
I think they need to, yeah, understand the why first and then go into the steps because we're a lot of us are on autopilot and that's the reason why we need boredom is because we're in autopilot. We need to disrupt the pattern, you know
hmm.
and the only way to actually get clear and understand what you're thinking. And honestly, again, I do think this is an advanced level thing because I truly didn't start doing this until after I got a coach
Really?
that actually like helped me to slow down and see what my thoughts were. And it even took some time because you go from having a coach asking you what you're thinking, right? And a lot of people aren't actually articulating what they're thinking at the level of being able to um, know what they actually are thinking. Like a lot of our thoughts are autopilot, so we're not very clear on what's happening in our brain. And when I got in a coaching setting, it did help to slow down, but then there was the practice of actually articulating the thing
Mm.
and then being able to identify in real time. I think that's another level of what my thoughts are, what the beliefs are that are guiding my actions and my results. So, yeah, I think emphasizing that.
Okay. So what I'm drawing right here, right, is kind of like a demonstration of what you just said. Like, for one, you said, "What am I thinking about?" Right? Or what are people need to be asking themselves in this boredom? What are you thinking about? What am I thinking about right now? And allow your thoughts. This is what you do in meditation too, and allow the thoughts to come to you without you trying to be this guy right here, right? And without you trying to like chase after every single thought that you have. But this is what this right here gets you, right? This allows you to slow down, right? And really start to become the observer of thoughts as opposed to being the one who is chasing after every single thought, right? I think this is a really good analogy because this is something that I teach in my principle, which is called the principle of recurring growth. And a part of that principle is really slowing down to understand what thoughts am I having? What thoughts are you having on a daily basis? And how are they playing an effect on your emotions? Because certain thoughts trigger certain emotions, and then certain emotions trigger certain actions. And if you're not consciously aware of what it is that you're doing or how it's playing an effect, then, well, you get the results you get, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think, dang, it just,
You think, keep thinking. You know what this reminds me of? What you're doing right now. Have you ever seen After School? It's like a channel on YouTube. So basically, what it is they do is like they'll have like what it is they'll do is basically they'll have like different speakers, but they'll like have their like videos like this right here, like what we're doing right now. They'll take the videos and then they'll have like somebody who's drawing and they'll just draw illustrations of the things that the people are talking about in the video. And they'll just keep on going like forward as they're talking and stuff, and they'll just draw the illustration so that way people can actually see what it is that they're talking about in a visual format. So
yeah.
as you continue to go, I'm just gonna continue to draw. So okay, I'm gonna phrase something for
Oh,
you.
my thing was gonna say brain dumps. I think that that'll be the tool we can introduce at the ending. Um, it's and you can do it in the beginning or the end of the day, but I definitely recommend in the morning because a lot of us we are overthinkers and we get up and our brain is on 1,000 already
Mhm.
of what we didn't do yesterday and what we need to do next week and tonight and all the things. So brain dumping everything. It could be full sentences, it could be ideas, it could be one or two words here and there, like just literally dumping everything that's in your brain out. And it doesn't have to be a long time. You can give yourself 5 minutes in the morning.
Okay.
And what I noticed too was actually, as an overthinker, when I started this practice, it helped me to, like, I felt lighter after I did it. So it did give me more clarity going into my day. And what's cool about it is after you do it for, a period of time, you can also start noticing patterns and things that keep coming up for you.
Hmm.
You keep writing about your ex or, the person in your inbox or this client or something. And if you notice that a same problem keeps coming up, it can help you kind of get more focus and clarity to actually solve for it. And I started using this whenever I just noticed like me being in overthinking mode. Because sometimes I would literally have nights where I would wake up and I would be like, I would wake up with like racing thoughts. And I started brain dumping and I was like, yeah, why would I just keep it in my head? Why wouldn't I just write it all out? And that actually did help me. Because then sometimes I'd wake up with those racing thoughts and then I can't go to sleep for 2 hours because the thoughts are racing. So if you do a brain dump, you actually feel rested because okay, this data, this information is put somewhere. So I'm safe. It actually tells your nervous system like I'm safe to rest. I'm safe to like do this thing because it's not lost and we're not just looping back on the same thing. So
Nice. Nice. Okay. I like that.
um
What else you got?
that'll be the tool at the end, just so we give them like one to two max things to
Okay.
help them with this, I think.
All right. So this is the two things we have for y'all to do then. You can in the morning, you can do full sentences or a few words, brain dump. And how long should they continue this process before they actually start to see the patterns in their life? Like, should it be like a week thing, a month thing, maybe 3 days? Like, how long should somebody expect to go through this process before they start noticing patterns in their own lives?
I mean, that's going to be dependent on what they're brain dumping.
Okay.
So, but I did notice a feeling energetically when I started it like that day, because immediately after I did it, I felt like a sense of you can brain dump thoughts and ideas, you can brain dump your tasks. Then, if you brain dump your tasks, then you can prioritize from there. Okay, what are the 2 to 3 things that if this is all I got done today, I would feel accomplished, right? So it's going to depend what your brain dumps look like. Because sometimes a brain dump can be a picture. It could be like you scraggling because all you just like fuck this shit. Like I'm angry, right? Like so I think it's not necessarily a thing on how long to a pattern before you see a pattern, but that can vary. But brain dumps can be in different forms, and it's literally a free write. So there's no right or wrong with it. But I promise you, if you do it, it'll help you.
Mm, awesome. Awesome.
Um,
Sometimes I feel like it's important to let people in on the process to let them know that we're human too, because I think sometimes you can have this misconception of, oh, they talk like they got it all figured out and they do this and do that. When I think it's important to let people sometimes in on the process of it all because it lets people know that we're figuring it out too. Because even though we always talk about here's what you can do to figure it out, I think there's no better way to show people how to figure it out than to show us figuring it out as well and giving it to them to figure out too. You see? So this can be, I feel like this really can be an episode for the podcast because it's just showing us in raw form. And then one day we can look back on this and be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like this could be the blueprint from where we started. And mind you, a lot of other stuff that we have is polished. Like, don't get it wrong. Anybody who's watching this, if this does come out, all the other episodes that we have are really polished, really poised, really put together, really conceptualized. But sometimes I think it's important to see people in their raw form so that way you can have the connection and understanding that, oh, they're figuring it out too. I thought that, watching them, they had it all together and stuff because of how they present themselves. This right here just goes to show, like, hey, we're trying out some new things. We want to see what y'all think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, give us your feedback, give us your honest opinion on what you thought about that. And if it works, cool, we'll refine it and we'll go forward. But if it doesn't, then we'll stick to our own style. But the beautiful thing about what we do is that we have so many different styles to choose from. Like we can go with, if you watch the last episode, we can do that. We can do this. We can start implementing this type of style. And then we can just have so many different styles to play off of that no matter what topic that we come up with, we have a multitude of styles to bounce the ideas off of or to integrate the ideas into. Remember, y'all, growth doesn't happen in the usual places.
And neither do we.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Usual, where we don't just talk about it.
We go beyond it, y'all.
And until next time, peace and progress.
Peace.